Howdy friends, and welcome to another great campground destination. Today's destination takes us to the Gunnison National Forest in central Colorado. Head north on Highway 135 toward Crested Butte off of Highway 50 that runs through Gunnison. Turn right in Almont on Highway 742 or the Taylor River Road, whichever you want to call it. You can also get there from Buena Vista along Highway 306 heading west to the Taylor River Reservoir, where you can pick up Highway 742. Lottis Creek Campground is located on the sharp curve on 742, so be ready for it. Across the highway from the campground is the Taylor River, which is popular for fishing, kayaking, and rafting. The Taylor River Reservoir is very picturesque and makes a great place to picnic, fish, or put in your boat. Keep your eyes open as you may see some old goats in this area, and I'm not talking about retired guys like me, but rather the real mountain goats that come down out of the rocky cliffs to munch on the sweet meadow grass. They also like to graze along the roads as well. This handsome fellow had a chuckle when I told him about why did the goat cross the road, and I guess he had never heard that one before. I spent one afternoon driving up to Spring Creek Reservoir and saw some great high mountain fly fishing areas and a very nice place to pause and reflect on the majesty of the mountains. There aren't many maps of the campground, so be sure to just check out the campground worksheet in the description of this video below as I take you through the 3 loops in the campground. The first loop is Baldy Loop, and it is the most updated area as all the sites have electric, lots of shade, and water is available near the vault toilets. All of the sites are very well kept, with some being reservable on recreation.gov, while others are on a first-come, first-served basis only. Sites 2 through 7 are nice and some of the quietest spots, but they do have some steps up to the picnic tables. The campsites aren't too close, so you can enjoy some limited privacy and not be 10 feet away from another site. Make sure you come with some warm gear, as the campground is at about 8,600 feet, and it was in the upper 30s each night I stayed there, and that was in mid-August. Site number 5 was nice as it backed up to the forest, but there are 3 steps to get up to the picnic table, so be aware of that. I thought I would be able to scan a QR code and pay online, even though I had no phone service, but the camp host was collecting cash, so be aware of that if you are in one of the first-come sites. I actually got the last site available that day. Sites 2, 4, and 6 were flat and accessible sites, and Site 9 is the first of 2 ADA designated sites. The camp host here was fantastic, and she checked on me a couple of times a day to make sure I didn't need anything or have trash that needed to go to the bear-proof dumpster, which I can't even reach. Site number 10 was my site, and it had a nice big pad and accessible picnic table. Site 11 and 12 were nice sites, and both had flat and accessible areas and Site 12 had some steps down to the tent pad area. Site 13 was nice, but had some steps down to the picnic table. Site 14 was the second ADA site, and it was nice, and 15 was a great flat site as well. I love summer flowers in the Rockies, so I had to put a few of these in this video. The next loop is Union Park, and it was a little bit more rugged than the Baldy loop, and I believe the campsites were a little bit closer to one another, but there were still some nice sites, as you will see. The loop was also not as shady as Baldy. Sites number 2 and 9 were the ADA designated, and you can see the other 9 sites that I noted on the campground worksheet as flat and accessible. Site number 5 was nice and had a wide drive. Site number 12 had a nice view. Site number 14 was a little more secluded than the others and was close to the bathroom. Site number 17 had 5 steps up to the picnic area, and Site 18 was down the hill. Site number 20 also had some steps. But 22 and 23 were flat and accessible for all. The next loop in the park was the park cone loop that was actually up the road a little bit, so check out directions on recreation.gov if you were interested in this loop. Shade was no issue in this loop of lodgepole pines, and it was quite beautiful. Site number 4 was the designated ADA site, and it had a big concrete picnic area. Site number 5 was a little rough and overgrown and had 3 steps down to the picnic area. Site number 6 was the second ADA designated site, but it was pretty small in my opinion. Site number 7 had 4 steps up to the flat picnic area, and site number 9 went down some steps. Site number 10 was flat and accessible, and that is the end of that loop. Hopefully you are still awake and not counting sheep or goats. Well, my friends, that concludes our review. And if you found this information helpful, please like, comment, or subscribe so you won't miss future episodes. Until next time, so long.